What's going on, traders? Welcome back to the one, the only, of course, Start Swing Trade, where we talk about the swing trade action and take a look underneath the hood where the rotation is going, of course. We'll take a look at the market right now, and it looks like we are getting a little bit of some dropping here in the SPY. Let's talk a little bit about that. Let's take a look at the market action. As you guys can see, the SPY dropping off a little bit here into the recent kind of push that we had at 3 p.m. Now pretty much going right back to the open. It seems like we're pretty much unchanged here. I wanted to call out to you guys. What was your top mover of the day? Go ahead and throw it up there in the chat. It seems like there was a little bit of a mixed bag today. A lot of movement and energy. We'll talk about that coming up. Financial services staying strong, communication services, and in the red, you guys see it there, utilities, technology, and healthcare leading the downside action. We'll talk about that also. Just fixing a little light action there. I'm back, team. Let's get to the action. How we doing out there? It's good to see you guys. Looks like EKS out there. Nick Brown even in the chat. How we doing out? All right, we'll get to the action. Let's take a look here at some of the top moves and, of course, some of my trading action today. All right, let's take a look here at the SPY. The SPY is right now just kind of trickling down, and I think we need to just pay attention to what? The bigger earnings reports this week, right? That's what we're going to be paying attention to. A lot of action going to be coming from those bigger reports. Of course, you guys can watch all that action right here on, of course, Benzinga. We will have our earnings calendar. If you guys haven't checked it out already, you can take a look at it on Twitter. I'll definitely throw up a link so that you guys can also grab that calendar if you don't already have it. Let's get to the action, of course, after the close tonight. Nothing really major on the docket. But tomorrow at the open, you get GM, you get GE, you get Verizon. Those will definitely be some that I will be watching. And then after the close, you get Microsoft, Alphabet, of course, Google, and Microsoft at the same time. I think this is why we're seeing a little bit of some weariness going into tomorrow, right? I think some traders are a little bit concerned about what could happen on those earnings reports. And let's take a look at Microsoft. You see Microsoft trading pretty much sideways. Same thing for Google. I actually had Google earlier today, was trying to take a shot off to kind of like the 122s for a move higher. It didn't actually make that move towards kind of like the 123s. I just never took profits. I actually ended up getting stopped out, break even, was looking for a little bit of a bigger move towards the upside. As you guys can see, Google has pulled back. We'll see what happens, of course, with the earnings reports. It seems like it's just kind of sideways, but if it has a good earnings report, I could see it back up towards 128, 130s, even maybe 140. And so who knows? Is Google going to make a move towards all-time highs? I think eventually it might, especially in this bubble environment. So it really feels like we're in this bubble environment, and I feel like you're going to really see that come to roost in this earnings season. So what do I mean by that? So what I think is going to happen is a lot of people have been, saying that this has been an AI move. I think this is just straight up bubble environment. And the truth is that when we're in a bubble environment, things can just keep rocking, right? So I think Microsoft, if it does, disappoint, probably down there towards the 320s, 310s. But if we could get back there through the 350s, maybe even tomorrow, give a good report. Why not it back at 390s, even maybe even 400 for Microsoft? So just be careful, team. I know there's a lot of people probably calling to the short side. I'll tell you one thing. A lot of times you guys see me calling to the short side. And right now, it's not one of those times. I just feel like the market has way too much exuberance to the upside and not too much pessimism on the downside. And yet there is some people out there that get really quickly short. But the truth is, it doesn't seem like that there's many bears out there left. All right, let's keep going. We'll get into some other action in the market. We'll take a look at some of the stock trades that I did today. Taking my profits in Valero, of course. That was a top trade. And this one wasn't a bad one, almost 10% on this name. Sold it up close to the 200 moving average, which was around the 124.80s. Actually got out there at specifically at the 125.03. So not a bad little profit there in Valero, almost a 10% gainer. And really started to see what? The oil stocks go higher, right? Take a look at the energy index here. As I've been talking about how I've been seeing this look like it really wants to take off. And there you guys have it. Now we're really starting to see this lift. And I think you could continue to see energy push. A lot of these stocks getting some good movement here. We got to keep watch to see what happens, but there's some bigger moves. And I'm going to definitely be watching some of the bigger names. ExxonMobil starting to get the lift, Chevron, ConocoPhillips really starting to push, BP. It's not just one name, right? And I was talking about some names today. I was talking about Schlumberger and Halliburton as two names that I wanted to keep an eye out for an up move. And look at Halliburton right back up there to the 38s, and looks like it wants to take out the 39s, get back towards the 40s, and maybe really start to push. So it looks like energy definitely getting strong. With that mention, I will be keeping a close eye on technology names in what industry? In solar, because for some reason, when we have energy start to climb higher, a lot of times these solar names also start to climb higher. One on my radar is First Solar. I will be keeping this one on watch. I actually like the action today where you're getting this turnaround from the 195. This could go right back through 200 and really start to climb. So I'm keeping my eyes on solar stocks. I like MaxN. I like Run. I like EMPH. We'll see if these can start lifting. And of course, with energy stocks continuing higher, we'll see what happens there. All right, that was my energy stock, and it looks like I just picked up another one on the first entry. So I have PXD now on that first entry. Just got a little bit of a snip through at the 217.95 area. I've been waiting for this little cutback into the 218s as I start to take some PXD. This one still looks really great for a move, maybe even towards 230s, 250s in reach. Let's see if this one can really start to move. I know Dennis Dick also has this one. I've been watching this one for a while, and now that we're really starting to get the move in energy, I'm going to look for this one to really start taking out weekly trend line and hold. So this is the weekly trend line. It came above it. Now we're holding the pullback. Don't want to see that break low around the 215 right now. So risk about $3 for a potential move. There's going to be $15. I'll do that anytime. Let's see what happens there. PXD. All right, there's some plenty of names you can look at in energy. I'm not going to go through all of them, but like always, keep your eyes out on those oil names. How we doing out in the chat? It's good to see you guys. Wale, how we doing? You want to take a look at MAC? But MAC? I don't even know that one. What's MAC here? Retail. It's a REIT stock. Doesn't look too bad there. I'll tell you, at least that looks interesting. A couple highs in the same area. 1285s, 1282, 1290s, needs to take out 13. We'll see if it's able to take out 13, but it's a REIT. It doesn't look too bad. And I don't know too much specifically about MAC here, but the weekly doesn't look too bad. It looks like it's trying to get back there towards 1380s, 14. We'll see if it's able to make that run. All right, let's keep going. And of course, we'll get into a little bit of some AMC. Let's get into some of the other trades that I have on. I do have Valet. This isn't looking too bad. Of course, this is in basic materials. We'll talk a little bit about that coming up, but going to see if this can start to push. And then, of course, there is another major trade that I have on, and that's a swing trade that I have on in CCJ. And this is one that I have in the Moomoo account, just trying to grind it higher. I actually got CCJ today, and I got it down here towards 32.63. So pretty low down here on the daily. And I'm looking for this to continue to climb. It got as high as 33.34 today. So going to look to see if this can continue to push. The daily looking really good. I'm not going to jump out of it today. I'm going to look to see if it can come overnight and maybe start making a move to 34. I'd be looking really good in CCJ. So, of course, I can start holding closer towards that 33 or 32.80s. So no matter what, I think I'm going to take a profit on this position, but I'm looking for a little bit more expansion on CCJ and Valet. I haven't taken profits on this one. I have an entry at 1401. Really nice daily candle it just put in. Now I'm going to look for it to take out 15. Once it gets through 15, I'll take some profit and then look for 16 and 17 coming up. All right, let's keep pushing. We'll see what else is being mentioned in the chat. And like always, you guys drop some trades in there. We'll take a look. All right, let's keep moving. Let's get out of of course, PXD, and we just talked about Valet. Let's go to Ross Stores, as that's another one that I have open right now. And this one hasn't been going anywhere. I've had this now for like 4 or 5 days, and I've been looking for it to take out 114. It has done some pullbacks, but really in the next day or two, I'm going to be looking for a 114 push. If not, might take this out, as it could come back all the way towards kind of like the 104s. So resistance is resistance, but definitely want to start seeing it take out this kind of 113s and start holding above towards the 114. And that's Ross Stores. Another one that I have, of course, is Hilton. Hilton's been one we've been grinding higher. Just want to see if lodging can continue to climb. One thing that I will keep on watch is Marriott's 9 EMA. It is holding really well. As you can see, recent holds of 191, recent holds of 190.25, recent holds of 188. Seems like it wants to hold on to this 9 EMA line. As long as that's holding, I think we could still continue to see lodging push higher. We'll see what happens there. Let's go to the next area here. I do have one last swing trade that I want to talk about. That's BJ. BJ pulling back there to the 64. I'm just keeping a watch on discount stores, as I feel like BJ could get the lift back through this high here. Going to look to see if we can get back through 65.90s. Really not going to let this get too far from 64. You know, a breakdown of kind of Friday's low, 63.72, would definitely kick me out of this stock. We'll see if it can get back up there to 65 and eventually close all the way up here towards 68. I can see that happening. We'll just see if it can make the trip. All right, that's BJ. Let's go to the other sectors, of course, that were up today. Communication services bouncing back. Of course, AT&T recently just got wrecked. It has been making its way back since that hit. Same thing like Verizon, but I would be worried about this coming right back down. And just be careful out there. T-Mobile coming right back up there. So we'll see what happens to T-Mobile. That's TMUS. This is not a bad stock, and of course the best of breed when we're talking communications. The only question is, do I really want to get a piece of this? I don't know. Charger Communications, we're talking Spectrum, really has started to take a lift, and you can see here it's gotten some pretty strength. So I don't look at Charter Communications often, but it looks pretty strong right now, and in the last couple of weeks has really started to get going. Let's get out of that. Let's go to financial services. Let's take a look at some of the leaders, right? Like JPM. Look at the weekly and the daily, continuing the strength in the financials. Let's go to Goldman Sachs, as you're up there now to 359. What a liftoff there. Morgan Stanley continuing to push. So it looks like definitely these banks really had a tendency of taking off today. Blackstone was one that I was going to keep an eye on. We mentioned it on Market Structure Mondays. This actually looks like an interesting pullback here on Blackstone to about 105, but I'll be looking for a little bit more tomorrow. If we can come back into this gap zone around the 103 space towards the 102.81s, that seems to make sense for me on Blackstone. We'll look to see if we can get a little bit more pullback below the 104s, closer towards the 103s. All right, let's keep going. And you guys can keep your eyes on these. These have been getting a lift as of late. BlackRock Incorporated. It seems like the asset management ones have really started to get the lift. The KRE and, of course, the regionals. It takes a little bit of a pullback. Now setting up for the move. A big move would be what? A big move would be a close towards 50. If we start to close towards 50s, these are really going to start making a move. So keep your eyes on the regionals. They're actually starting to make sense even for some kind of day trades. PNC has been one that I've been talking about, can really start maybe moving right back to the upside. And you guys see it pretty strong right now. We'll see if any regionals really kind of show disaster in their earnings, but don't look too bad. And look at the recent run in WAL. It's been about a 21% run there. So can you really be mad if you were able to capture a nice 20%? Can't be mad there. All right, let's keep going. We'll see what other stocks are being mentioned out in the chat there. Real estate also continuing the strength. We'll see if this can just continue to lift. And there hasn't been really much turnaround here in the real estate, but be careful, of course, with office REITs. I will be watching different areas here, but there's some good names here, of course. PLD looking good here, like it wants to start making a move back there towards 130. We'll see if that can actually make the move up higher. American Tower Corp, that one doesn't look as strong, but is looking like it wants to come back here. And then PSA, Public Storage. We'll see if this can start making a push. It has a lot of bottoming, just really can't get off the floor right now is PSA. All right, let's keep going. We'll see if some other areas stand out to us. Industrials getting another move higher. A surprising one for me was UPS going up. Of course, they had their strikes, but that didn't affect it in a negative case here today, actually lifting right back to the upside. So we'll see what happens there on UPS. I was wondering if this would affect FedEx to the downside, and no. I mean, you did get some leak in pre-market, but not much leak during the market. So it's not playing too big of an effect on the stocks right now, but could always turn around. XLI was one thing to keep on watch. We talked about it last week, how it just keeps staying higher. We'll see if it can continue pushing, right? Deere was one that I had, and I had this at 440s. It almost made that run to 450s today, 447. Nice little run there in Deere, and definitely seeing these stocks push higher. And you got to be careful with these, but man, not a bad push there recently in the farm and heavy construction. Cat getting the lift, Pakar getting the lift. We'll see if these can continue to run. Can Pakar get back there towards 100 or maybe even just 90s? Looks pretty good right now. All right, we'll see what happens on other stocks like ITW. That's one that I've been keeping an eye on. And of course, General Electric is going to affect these stocks tomorrow. We'll see if they finally break the range, right? This has been stuck in a channel for so long. I'm wondering, does GE finally break the channel that it's been in for all year long? And now we're talking about almost August. So we're talking almost 8 months of in this channel has General Electric been. We'll find out how it affects tomorrow after the report comes out. All right, let's keep going. Industrial space is getting also hit in the trucking space. Of course, that's affecting different stocks as ODFL takes a little bit of a pullback, but starting to make its way back at the open. So just be careful out there with some trucking stocks. Looks like they're definitely being affected by different areas in the industry. Basic materials is staying strong. I've been keeping an eye on steel, and you can see here, nice little lift off today in steel. Going to keep an eye on Nucor. Nucor really started to get going, but of course, what got the nice little lift here? Of course, X got the lift. We'll keep a watch to see if it can get back up through 25 tomorrow. This has been an area that I do see some strength now really starting to come back in. And it could be some depreciation in the dollar that's starting to play an effect. But 24.50 seems to make sense for me for X to come right back up through 25. So this would definitely be on my radar for tomorrow. We'll see what happens there in steel. There's some other names that looked good. Cleveland Cliff reporting tonight. So maybe off of that report, we can actually get some continued run on steel. That's something to keep an eye out for tomorrow. Steel Dynamics is one that I definitely like in this space. Also, let's see if it pushes back through that 110. One of the best right here in steel. We'll look to see if it can take another step back. All right, let's keep going. We'll see what other stocks are making moves in basic materials. You got copper stocks trying to push towards the upside. FCX is definitely one of those ways. It pulled back to 40, now holding really well. This looks like it wants to take the next step up. And if you wanted to also take a look at a different one, SCCO, Southern Copper Corp. This looks pretty strong. And copper overall starting to get going. BTU and these coal plays, I think, are about to just take off. So BTU is definitely on my radar. It's one of my top watch stocks tomorrow. So we'll see what happens on this one. Will we get another coal or oil trade higher? That's another thing that I want to see continue going higher, because if the oil names go higher, usually we start getting also coal to follow. So we'll see if that can really start taking a lift there on basic material and the coal names. And what's doing well right now in coal? You have METC. And you have CEIX that are kind of taking the lead and already starting the trend, right? They're already starting to lift. CEIX, probably the best looking chart. METC, also not a bad looking chart either, as it just broke above 9, has had multiple runs to the 9. Now I'd be looking for 9 to hold on pullbacks and take that next step up. We'll see what happens there on METC. Jay, I did not talk China names, and we can definitely get there. Let's go to the sectors that got hit today, and technology is definitely something to keep an eye out for. We'll see if these can get a little bit of a move. Baba was making a move higher, and I was talking about China stocks this morning, And I felt like China stocks could really get the lift. I saw what was mentioned this morning about the political meeting that was coming later in the week. And I felt like, China has been ramping up measures before this, right? We saw different things from the Ant Group get pulled away, right? We saw some EV credits come out. So this actually, I think, helped give them the lift. So China names now starting to push PDD, Baidu, Baba. Looks like I was dead right about this trade this morning and was looking for Baba to kind of hold 91, 92s on like nice little pullback action. Take that out and go towards the next levels. Nice little push there to 96, right back towards the resistance. And who knows? This one has earnings next Monday. Could be right back through the 100 by the time that comes. A lot of Momo calls be in China names today. Yeah. And I'm just glad I looked at the China stocks this morning, been looking for the lift. I was talking about them this morning, even with Dennis Dick and Joel Alcon. And I was like, I just feel like these China stocks, yeah, they're starting to get the government support. Once they get the government support, they'll start moving out of their own little bear markets. And you see them pushing higher. JD also pushing higher. So it looks like, watch out, because China stocks starting to push. And with that, I think that could also help keep technology up, right? Technology is down today, but China at least having a decent day there. All right, guys, it's about 3:54. We're going to keep going here. We got about 6 minutes left. It's been a tough day for me. I just haven't been feeling the best, so sorry about it if I don't sound the best. I'm just trying to keep going through. It's been a tough one. All right, utilities also down today, in healthcare pulling back after a big move up recently in healthcare. And what was this? That was looking at the GARP play, right? Growth at reasonable price. And I think that you're starting to see that trade kind of turn right back down. It doesn't mean that it completely disappeared. No, I think it just rotated back into some of the energy names. And then you're seeing what? Wicked on rotation. It just rotates to whatever it needs to stay up. So you got to be careful on names like this, especially as they turn back around. Like look at biotech today. It was grinding higher a couple of days, a couple of days that it had green, and then one big red bar, it's right back down. So you got to be careful there with some of these stocks. All right, let's keep going. We'll see what else is going on in the healthcare space, but doesn't look the best there. And some bigger stocks definitely turning around. Did see TMO strong, though, if you're looking for a stock that was strong. And we also talked about DHR that was pretty strong. So these are the two that seem pretty strong if you're looking for healthcare stocks that are looking good. DHR with a nice little move again today. TMO looks like you're definitely getting some industry-wide effect from TMO and some of the different stocks. So we'll see what happens there if this can continue the push to the upside. All right, catching up with you guys out there. What's up going on, Milky Fade? How you doing? It's good to see you in the chat. Smash the like out there, guys. Let's keep going. All right, let's go out of healthcare and we'll keep watch on some cyclicals as this starts to get a little bit of a pullback and starting to get strong in different areas. So we got to keep watch. What stands up to me today? Macy's is holding in here and trying to make a move back up towards the 17s. If you like department stores, maybe you got to start keeping an eye out. Do you think we go into a recession? If you don't, well, these actually don't look too bad. We'll see if they start to make the lift. Home improvement stores. HD. Do you guys remember when we traded Home Depot through 300? Now Home Depot's at 325 and continuing to lift. We'll keep an eye out also on low. Will low get there towards the 240s as this continues to push? We were looking at this one back at 210. This has been a nice little push, almost a 9% win there on lows from the beginning. All right, let's keep going. Residential construction, of course, is in this space. And I don't understand why they don't just put this under real estate. But hey, to each his own. Residential construction just staying strong, man. It feels like every pullback gets bought up. Until I see a big trend change in these look like they just want to continue higher. So be careful in residential construction, especially if you're looking at shorts. Apparel stores staying strong. Of course, I'm going to keep an eye out on Ross Stores and TJX. TJX finally making that move towards like 87. That's what makes me feel a little bit more confident about my Ross Stores position. We'll see what happens there and it's long. Burlington could also get maybe a nice little lift. I know this stock likes to get the push when it can. All right, we'll keep going. And definitely footwear and accessories are a stock that I would keep a watch on. Nike was looking strong earlier, but definitely turned around on the day. We'll see what happens there. Can that hold on? Can Deck hold on? Crocs also starting to pull back. So we'll see. Definitely not seeing the strength that I wanted to see in footwear and accessories. But then again, this could just be showing a little bit of a slowdown. Crocs, I was looking to see if we were going to close back towards above 125. Not a good close today, at least it feels like. Not looking good as it did this morning. All right, let's keep going. We'll get out of the consumer cyclical. Let's go defensive names going higher and definitely pushing. And what is this move? This shows me that value plays still being played out there. So just be careful as you're starting to see a rotation to value. We'll look to see if this sticks, but definitely BG getting a nice little lift. Bungie, nice little push higher. This actually looks good off the 105. Archer Daniel Midland looks like it wants to go higher. Tyson Foods bouncing off the bottom. Calmain Foods. Will this one get a little bit of a lift? We'll see what happens. Dole up there towards 13. It just seems to me like this is kind of that value trade, and it seems to be working right now. Discount stores doing well. Walmart, Costco. These are names that I've talked about. If they can stay strong, my VJ trade should get right back to the upside. We'll look to see if that can push. BIG getting some push today. We'll look to see if Ollie can pull back there towards 66 or just continue climbing higher. All right, let's get out of the defensive space. Someone wants to talk about some industrials. We did talk about some of these, but I'll go to the airlines. I see, is it American Airlines? Oh, no, you wanted to talk about Alcoa. All right, I got you. You want to talk a little bit about aluminum. Aluminum just looks a little bit weak. It tried to make a little bit of an up move, but just can't get away from itself. One thing that I'd keep an eye out for is CENX. I actually like this one I actually like the way this one trades compared to AA. And so I would look for to see if this one could reverse back above 9. If this one could give me a strong candle, like up here towards like this, like kind of 920 look, then I could start taking a look at Alcoa. Right now, Alcoa does not look like it wants to get back up there to 40s. And it looks like it's rejecting, if anything, to hold the trend line break back to the upside. Doesn't look good right now. All right, we'll keep going. We'll see what happens there on Alcoa Corporation. Of course, we're talking aluminum when we talk Alcoa. All right, guys, it's going to be 4:01. That's going to do it for me, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed today's show. And, of course, keep your eyes on the SPY. SPY just staying what? Right in the middle. It seems like, of course, we're going to have to keep watch on a couple of big things this week. We got the FOMC meeting on Wednesday. We got the CPE, of course, that's going to be coming in. That's going to be on Friday. And on Thursday, we also get GDP outlook. These are my three major things to watch this week because they will be changing things. And if you get a surprise move to the upside on Microsoft or Google, I feel like this market can hang on. So we'll see what happens by the end of the week. One prediction that I have, of course, and take everything that I say with a little bit of some grain of salt. So, Boba, you wanted a prediction? I got you, my friend. My idea here is that at the end of the week, we see that tech stays strong and that really we're talking about now more of a tech bubble environment as stocks just want to continue lifting higher and keep pushing. I don't think the FOMC meeting is going to play any effect on the market. We'll find out what happens there. Maybe you see a little bit of some volatility move, but will it keep the trend higher? Yeah, I feel like it will. We'll find out, guys. Smash the like out there. Hit the like, and we'll see what else is going on in the market. What's CVX pre-announcing today? We'll see. I'll keep an eye out for it. I haven't caught anything right now on the tape, but of course, catch that all tomorrow morning on Pre-Market Prep. See you guys bright and early.